don't, for any reason, ever share your private keys, passphrases, passwords, or click suspicious links. Everyone all the time is trying to steal your stuff, so go slow and be careful. There's no point making all this money just to give it to a thief. If you're serious about cryptocurrency, digital assets, artificial intelligence, game theory, the complex and often confusing world of macroeconomics and finance, you must learn to manage your assets like an experienced hedge fund manager. Join us at nickblacknext.com and be a part of Digital Investor. 3 live streams each week full of experienced and specific portfolio management education. Join us at www.nickblacknext.com.
Woo! Hello.
That was so good. That was so cool.
We got an English AI guy now. I love it.
It's nice because he smartens us up, Nick.
He makes us sound. The British, they don't have a lot of teeth, but they do sound very eloquent.
They're way smart. Yeah, way.
Oh, let's see. What time are live sessions? James, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. Then the Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's
8
when
a.m.
we do,
Pacific. So
yeah, Pacific.
That's like, yeah. Anyway,
when we do the other stuff, the tech tips, they go out whenever they're edited and ready. That's usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. The This Week in Hypercycle, that just goes out whenever I get Toofy on the phone or on the thing. We can record an episode. We're recording one today, by the way, for Hypercycle. All right. Hello. 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 By the way, if you guys have like a little business or something, like you should put it in your morning salutations. I used to go through every one of these things. Hello, hello. Jerry, what up? Kai, Deborah, GRC, Greg, Paula. Look at all these people we got. We got so many people. So many happy people. We don't know if they're happy. A discreet good morning. They might be unhappy.
Well, and Nick, it's DCA day is what it is. So this is good day. And I know that a lot of you guys have saw kind of what's going on. Coinbase got approved for futures trading, Bitcoin futures trading this morning. So, I mean, that's positive news, but still nothing's going on. We can go over markets here in a second, but let me go ahead and add my screen real quick. Hold on.
So yeah, we'll do that. Then we'll hit the AI news. I have all the crypto news queued up as well. We'll go through that. But first, you had some stuff you wanted to chat. Dang, we got so many cool people. Hello, people.
Yeah. Well, the one thing, and this is kind of just because we were chatting the other day, we were talking, I can't remember who it was, but I was chatting with somebody, and we were talking about Fetch. So if we come into our member dashboard over here in Digital Investor, we have access to all this pricing data, right here. So if we were to go ahead and search Fetch up, let's go ahead and look at it, because the interesting thing is this thing popped up to about 23.5 cents a couple days ago on some minute news, some really small news that was
bunch of nothing,
right? It was pretty much negligible, and now we can kind of see that this has dropped down. And the biggest thing that we were talking about, me and this individual, is the fact that we were hoping it would go to 15 cents, then it pops up to 23 cents. And we're like, oh, crap. Because honestly, Fetch, I still like Fetch. I know they're having some minor, I would say, controversy within the team type of stuff. But I still like Fetch. I like what it stands for. I originally liked Fetch. I still like the staking rewards over at Cosmos Station. If you haven't seen that, actually, I'm going to re-release that as an official tech tip video, actually, because I have this tech tip on how to stake over at Cosmos Station. It's a really good walkthrough. If you guys don't know how to do that, we're going to go ahead and release that bad boy. But right now, Fetch, I mean, obviously it's sitting back down under 20 cents. It dropped about 7% today, which is great for us. And just like Nick always says, these red days are not days to cry about. These are days that we can dollar cost average in to the positions that we know and love, and Fetch is one of those things that I love. Not to mention, we're still getting almost 10% over on Cosmos Station for staking, so obviously a good thing. Anyway, so you can go check it out here. You can kind of see the chart, see that little bump up here, and this was just a couple days ago. Now it's back down. We're DCAing back again, Right now, I don't know that Fetch has found a bottom yet. Just looking at it, I still think that we do have some room to go with Fetch. So definitely DCA, don't go all in on this thing.
Jim, go to nickblacknext.com and then just get on the mailing list, and you'll see Digital Investor. You can sign up for it or whatever, but it's going to be for the next 2 weeks. It's just free. It'll be Monday, Wednesday, Friday right here. It's on Theta, it's on Twitter and Twitch and all that kind of stuff. Well, not Twitter anymore. It's X now. We have to call it X.
X.
X. But then starting September, it goes back just for the members because we do portfolio management stuff and you can't do that publicly. Can't do it. The law is about that. Okay. So we got some AI news, which is really cool. There's a lot of AI. I mean, there's always a lot of AI news, but there's more. The news today is more crypto biased. So we're going to knock out the AI news first. And if you guys can throw a like on here, notice ain't no commercials, ain't no nothing. So if you can throw us a like. In the
also, Ben, if you can't read that, then you just need to change the quality in your YouTube video probably to 1080p, I'm guessing. It should be really clear. Anyway, yeah. This and as far as Nick's saying, so we got 5. Well, including today's show, we got 5 more shows, including today's show, where we're going to be presenting everything right now here on this YouTube channel. So we'll post the link as many places as we can for right now, but honestly, Digital Investor, guys, that's going to be the place to go to get all your stuff. Digital Investor. So go to nickblacknext.com.
And the whole website. I mean, the website's actually got a lot of functionality that we're building into it. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's knock out the AI news. Of which some good AI news. We got our friendly robots.
Yes.
I like how they make their little noises. They're like, drrr. Okay. AI news wise, kind of a lot of stuff. All right. There was some stuff yesterday. I looked at it. I thought, well, maybe we include it, but this stuff seems cooler. One, there is a pair of trousers, like these pants that are built with all these kind of like pressury things, and it helps stroke survivors walk, which is pretty cool if you think about it. So a UK stroke patient is walking independently again, thanks to smart trousers controlled by artificial intelligence. The team built these pants that stimulate her paralyzed leg to match her healthy leg's movements, which if you think about it, that's pretty badass. It's kind of like mimicking. And so they call it neuroskin trousers, and they have electrodes sending AI modulated pulses, recreating the patient's natural walking gait, like the normal motion of their legs, by mirroring the healthy leg to the other leg. And so it allows repetitive motion for rehabbing brain connections. Also, people, like if you injure an arm, they're going to have similar technology. Currently costs $5,500 a month, which is not so cheap to lease, but it may become more accessible in the future. The mobility tech marks another milestone in this kind of growing list of AI-powered medical advances. You're going to see a lot of AI medical stuff, like lots. And as algorithms get more finely tuned, prosthetics and recovery tools will be replacing some of the older kind of, well, really, most stroke victims, they just sit in a damn chair. So this is replacing a chair. Do you want to not sit in a chair? Yes. Okay. Put on the pants. Anyway, there are millions of people that suffer like strokes, things like that this kind of tech could help them out. Brandon, if you stroked out, would you wear the pants?
I mean, oh yeah, definitely. That sounds like awesome.
Yeah, I think it's badass.
It's so cool. Yeah, it reminds me. We went to the Meg. Have you seen the Meg yet? That show where they have those like machines that they can walk on the bottom of the ocean floor with.
Hold on.
Oh, what?
The Meg?
What? Yeah, have you seen the Meg
with Jason Statham?
Yes. My wife loves him.
You know.
I feel bad. I took my whole family to see, like my little 6-year-old girl. She's like,
Real quick in the chat, can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down for parenting skills? Taking their kids to see
that she anyway. We wanted to be together as a family. Oh my gosh.
The Meg is, dear God, the Meg is not a family thing. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, okay. Let's get through the rest of it before he comes up with some other bad parenting advice.
No, this is what I was saying was they have those suits at the bottom of the ocean that they walk in, and it's like, oh my gosh, they're like
could be better. Funko's being nice. Could be better. No, no bueno is correct. Okay. So Google has upgraded search with smarter AI features. So Google has been pounding pretty heavy into AI because they kind of got left behind at first. And yeah, DARPA does a lot of sketchy stuff in AI. We'll just leave it at that, but mostly like guidance technology for weapons. Anyway, Google rolled out new AI capabilities for search generative experience, SGE, to enhance learning and help users to digest complex information. Hashtag simplify. So SGE while browsing, which is like a feature that you'll be able to do, now summarizes key points and answers from web pages, not just within search. So the idea is to help research complicated topics and speed up browsing while building on Google's existing AI-powered summaries. So if you guys have seen, and also not only are there like in browser like little tools, but you're starting to see like on Brave, there's website summaries, things like that. I mean, this is just becoming, all of this stuff is going to go across all of the different search browsers and search feed, apps and all that kind of stuff. You're going to see, AI summaries and things like that. And then what it's going to be, I think, is they're going to make it where you want people to, it needs to feel intuitive. For instance, it needs to know the kinds of questions I'm likely to ask when I see this pile of information. And so that's where the user experience is going to get a lot better. And Google does have a lot of data on search that they can use. So they have a lot of proprietary data that they could feed their AI systems to increase kind of relevant search and these AI-powered summaries, which is pretty badass. Anyway, there are hover definitions, which let you preview terms within AI responses. And then they have new color-coded little snippets for improved code readability, which is kind of cool if you're, coding. Anyway, a lot of people still use Google. I mean, mostly everybody still uses Google. And, if they push out AI tools, that could be one of those mass adoption type, and again, this is going to be everywhere. It will be, a year or two from now, it'll just be that everything's powered by AI and it won't be a thing anymore. It'll just be like, well, that's normal. Why would you not? Because it's just enhanced software. So it doesn't make any sense that people wouldn't, but it is kind of cool that you're seeing all of these search engines kind of fighting right now so much. Okay. You can get ChatGPT to mimic your writing style. Does anybody here I use ChatGPT all the time, like especially in legal stuff. But is anybody here using it for like letters, business proposals, stuff like that? So essentially you can get AI to generate content in your own unique voice. And so essentially what you do is kind of like 3 basic steps. And I guess I could probably put it in the chat, but essentially you go to ChatGPT, you provide it samples of your writing. The more examples you provide, the better ChatGPT will be able to replicate your writing style. Then you ask ChatGPT to analyze your content and you use the prompt, and I'm going to put that in there. Based on this sample, describe the unique elements of my writing style. So once it has that, once it has your own little style, then you can have it write stuff in your style, which is really cool if you're creative, or if you're one of those people that writes, people get used to your writing and they would know, like, that didn't come from Brandon. That has too many correctly spelled words.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Why would I want it to write and sound like me when it's all like wrong?
Well, you might for communications, like let's say you had a job and with your boss, and they know like, okay, turn in that report, Brandon. You're like, okay, sir. And you turn it in your own writing style. Anyway, but you could also do this. You can teach ChatGPT a writing style that you like, and you could have it analyze that writing style. So basically, so you use, based on this sample, describe the unique elements in my writing style, okay, of my writing style. Then, using the style guide provided, draft an article about whatever in the writing style and tone of the provided examples. And I'll give you that one too, just because that's the second half of the prompt. And why do we even talk about prompts? Because prompt engineering is basically the way we ask questions now. The better you get at asking questions, the more precise your answer is going to be. So that's kind of thing there. That's kind of fun. Okay, a couple of quick little hits, and then we'll get on to the AI news. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are racing to buy NVIDIA chips. They are buying a lot. Saudi Arabia will use 3,000 chips. So, you know, NVIDIA has the A100 and the H100. Then they're also developing a new chip. But these are all heavy, very tiny, big piles of GPU-based chip technology, and it's really good right now, or at least it's the best that's out there right now for training large language models and things like this. And they've actually, they're not only are they buying a bunch of chips, but they are unveiling their own open source AI model to so everybody's getting in on and it's interesting too that it's open source. You know, you wouldn't think just right off the bat that the Saudis would be like, hey, let's put it out there to the people. But you saw China do that too. And yeah, China's buying a lot of chips. We're going to get to a point. Chips is another thing there's going to be a big bottle of that. I mean, I think that'll be a bottleneck anyway. So there you go. So that's kind of cool. WhatsApp is testing AI generated stickers. Hashtag no one cares. Let's see. China is rolling out new AI rules. So China's first national AI regulations went into effect Tuesday. These dudes are fast. Requiring registration and review of all AI services, labeling of AI content, and legitimate data sourcing. It's a balance between state control and AI innovation. And the laws will be a reference point, I think, probably. Well, other countries are probably going to look at what they're doing and be like, okay, China's awful, but maybe it makes sense to have some kind of consistent AI regulation. I do think this, and I'm kind of curious what everybody else has to say. I think that if you have an AI system answering questions, it needs to disclose that it's not a human. Do you think that's fair, Brennan?
Well, I think that's kind of what WorldCoin was kind of starting to integrate, right?
Well, WorldCoin is not communicating with people and talking and giving them advice. It's just spraying funny money. I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah. No, yeah. Disclosure needs to happen because we're going to get so confused. Yeah.
It hasn't been made clear to me. Again, kind of WorldCoin, the whole thing about, we're going to give money away to people. And I'm all for that. Like a universal basic income. I'm sure that's coming in a bunch of different varieties and flavors and colors and all that. I'm not sure that you can just spin up a coin out of thin air and that has any value. I mean, I don't know. Like, they're going to give away a token. All right, cool. What's it worth? Well, do you want to buy any? Wait, your business model is to just give it away? Yeah. No, I don't want to buy any. So I don't know where there's value. I mean, I don't know if he's thinking people are going to put money, they're going to invest in WorldCoin. Why would you invest in a coin that they're going to continually just give away to people?
Yeah, it's unlimited inflation is what it is. Yeah.
I don't know if that's in my investment strategy.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
I don't know.
Come on. But hey, everybody gets to participate, Nick. Everybody gets to play.
Okay, there is quite a bit of crypto news, but should we just kind of roll that in to
yeah, I want to get to markets because I know we didn't get to markets last stream.
No, so I will go quickly through the crypto news, of which there's a fair amount of it. Let's start. Let me see if I can find my little thingy. Nope, that's large language models. Give me 2 seconds. I've got the large language models. I've got all these damn You have to be closed. So many windows, so little time. So I have that one, I have that one, and I have that one. Okay, cool. I do this so that I can show the article at the same time as we discuss it. All right.
Yes.
So let's go back to this one just for in momentito. All right. Bam. All right. So we talk about this a lot. And, again, you have people that are very tribal about Algorand. You have people that are just like Algorand a joke. I mean, I think everybody is mostly in agreement that Algorand's tech is really good. Leave the article up there. What do you keep doing? Stop it.
I didn't do that. That's so weird. I just took my screen off. That's so weird.
I don't know what you did.
Well.
People need to see. Anyway, Algorand is suffering from the SEC's description and poor marketing. Well, Algorand is suffering from poor marketing. It wasn't the SEC didn't take Algorand to 12 cents. Algorand took Algorand 12 cents because it doesn't matter how many big deals, and they are working on big stuff, but no one cares if you don't talk to people. So this article basically says that the SEC describes Algorand's native token as a security, but that all got upended with the second part of the decision in the SEC versus Ripple case that will be at some point in the next 15 to 18 months figured out in the court system. But until then, secondary sales of digital assets do not constitute a security. All right, great. Now, or do not constitute the sale of unlicensed securities. Now, some people like this guy, Bill Morgan, think that the SEC's description is what's contributing to Algorand's slow development, but that's bull smoke because Algorand was having problems way before the SEC. And they melted down from $3 and change, not because SEC. That was very recent. They melted down because they don't communicate, because they're a bunch of arrogant sons of bitches. It is what it is. I met their former head of marketing. It's a long story, but anyway, I spent like Thanksgiving hanging out with him and his family. Real cool dude, a total arrogant douchebag. And we had this discussion. I was like, no one knows what you guys are doing at Algorand because you don't feel like you need to tell anyone. This guy basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he had the audacity to tell me we shouldn't have to explain ourselves. Well, well, then you shouldn't have to get our money because we're the ones buying your stupid ass token. So don't tell me, oh, we don't need to. You do need to. And I was like, aren't you the head of marketing? What do you do then? Since you don't do any marketing, what do you do? Well, what he did is got fired. Anyway, which actually brings me a little bit of peace. I hope I see him this Thanksgiving. I'll be like, hey, how's it going? You working for Ripple now? Anyway, the SEC describes Algorand's native token as a security, but we don't really care about that. Essentially, Morgan they were going back and forth on Twitter. And one of these dudes was saying, well, listen, Algorand is doing a lot of stuff. The problem is they don't talk about it. And so some of the projects building on Algorand rails right now identified by the group are ISDA, which is a derivatives market standard for all global corporations. According to him, the estimated size of the derivatives market is nearly 1 quadrillion. So that's, for anybody out there, that's 1,000 trillion. That's a lot. It's so much. He also mentioned the Bank of Italy, a euro 250 billion. That doesn't make any sense what they're saying. But anyway, sureties bonds denominated in euro, and that's a big project that they're working on. Although if it's Bank of Italy, nothing that Italians do financially makes much sense. They're always like bankrupt. Anyway, but it is a huge debt capital market tokenization of bonds by a significant player. And so, they are working on big projects. They're working on TIPS, which is another Bank of Italy project, European Targeted Instant Payment System. And he explained that the process roughly equal to about 1.7 trillion euro per day, making it one of the largest payment systems globally. And then there's a bunch of other things like Argo token, which I don't even know what the hell that is, Lofty, HESAP Pay, TravelX, and many more. I think, to me, it boils down to this. They don't market. And if you don't market, then don't ask for public money. And also don't bitch about it when you don't get it. So if you whine that your token's going down, then talk to people. And if you're not willing to talk to people, you can go F yourself because you don't deserve people's money. Anyway, there's that. Now, on upbeat news, Brandon, you had mentioned this earlier. Coinbase can now offer Bitcoin and Ethereum futures in the US. So, and again, everyone's like, well, I thought we hated Coinbase. No, although Coinbase does some weird stuff, but Coinbase has been approved to offer futures contracts in Bitcoin and Ethereum to eligible U.S. customers. Coinbase has won approval from the National Futures Association, NFA, to offer crypto futures to eligible U.S. customers. Kind of cool. They applied for this in September 2021, acting as a futures trading broker on their platform. So that's kind of cool. So anyway, yeah.
That's a good spin. That's a real good spin. No matter how you feel about Coinbase, and just like you said, they have done some weird things lately, like locking out people's accounts. And the reason they're locking out people's accounts that I've seen is strange. It's because they're sending money to multiple different wallets, but who's to say they're not all their wallets? Like Coinbase should not have any control over where you send your crypto. So it's really frustrating.
I think Coinbase is just trying to cover all their bases. They're in that position.
This is the reason right here. They're trying to be as squeaky clean as possible. They're actually taking the step forward to try to conform with regulation, to pave the path, I think, for everybody else. So it's to Coinbase's credit, but it's also frustrating at the same time because Coinbase is doing something really good, but at the same time, it kind of hurts. But it is what it is.
So anyway, Coinbase now gets to offer futures contracts in Bitcoin and Ethereum to eligible U.S. customers. According to Coinbase, the global derivatives market currently represents 75% of the overall crypto trading volume. That's a lot. Last year, Coinbase acquired FairX, now known as Coinbase Derivatives Exchange, to offer derivatives products. The exchange has successfully launched nano Bitcoin and Ethereum futures contracts, catering to retail and institutional investors. Great. So here, that is happening. So that's good. That's a piece of good news. Now we go to a piece of weird news, actually. And this is that PayPal, like they're rolling out all their crypto stuff. They're like, what is
the timing of this? Nick, come on. So if you're on the marketing team, right? Think about this timing, okay? This does not bode well. I saw this.
I think they buried the lead. I think what it is they knew probably that they're the UK, and I'll read it, but the UK is basically has launched kind of a regulatory framework. And I think PayPal's realizing that what they're doing in the UK on the crypto side doesn't meet those regulations. So they said, we're going to put a kibosh on this for a few months. And then they're going to, so essentially it's not like they're leaving the market. They're just freezing. They're going to temporarily freeze their crypto products in the UK. The UK is going to begin enforcing a law that requires cryptocurrency companies to complete they have to have all this transaction data. And so PayPal launched its cryptocurrency service in the UK back in August of 21, right around peak stupid. And although I've never used any of the PayPal crypto stuff, I saw it in the app, but I was like, I don't know, man. Anyway, with an anticipated return of PayPal of their crypto products in the UK in early 2024. So this is like a pause so they can figure out, like, how do we not get in trouble? Anyway, they are temporarily halting their crypto purchasing services in the UK starting October 1st, which is kind of weird because the UK Financial Conduct Authority's laws, their rules, they didn't go into place August 1st. They go into place in September. So I don't know why it's not, I don't know. This seems a little weird. I think something else may be going on. Anyway,
this is always like one of those. This is one of those look over here situations. Something's happening over here. They do this all the time. So just
but I don't think it's the way people think. So I think you're right. That's what it is. But I don't think it's because there's a problem. I think it's because PayPal wants to push really heavy into the cryptocurrency space. So and if you have cryptocurrency on there, if you're in the UK or whatever, You don't have to stress about it. You're not going to lose any of your stuff. You can still hold your assets on there. You don't have to move them, but you just can't purchase new cryptocurrency. Okay. So in a notice sent by PayPal, the payment service provider said it has decided to stop its buying service as the world kind of figures out what the hell these new rules mean and da-da-da. I think it's a little different. I think that PayPal is going to go heavier into crypto, and they may be working with the UK and trying to figure out, like, how do we do this? You don't want to have this whole big, robust American, US cryptocurrency platform and all this, and then you can't send money across, like, to London. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, the whole point is that this stuff is, I mean, I don't know why all these services aren't as interoperable as just like MetaMask. Someone was asking me yesterday, they were trying to get some money to Argentina, and they're like, how do we do it? I'm like, does he have a phone? Yes. Okay, well, then just put MetaMask on the phone and send him Tether. And they were like, what? Like, yeah, that's it, bro. That's all you do. So
cool.
I
feel like a lot of people overcomplicate that whole process, Nick. And that's going to be sort of the education that we got to walk through as well. People are just overcomplicating crypto when it's really that simple, just like you said.
This was interesting. This was yesterday, but I did think it was worth bringing it up because it would end up that Friday, by the time we all meet again, we will probably have, this is going to be an interesting one. I think it's a denial. These guys are beefing. Now, okay, let me backtrack. This isn't whether Grayscale, let me just read it because this was it's a little bit more confusing than it first sounds like. As you guys know, Grayscale wanted to wind down their trust into the first Bitcoin spot managed ETF, spot settled ETF. That was the goal. And the SEC was like, hell no. So Grayscale made a bunch of arguments, legal arguments, sued the SEC, saying that their behavior is arbitrary and capricious, along with some other choice words. And they're saying you allow a cash settled ETF for Bitcoin, but you don't allow a spot settled ETF. So what's the bigs, bro? Anyway, Grayscale has yet to receive a decision from the SEC regarding its application to convert its Bitcoin trust into a spot Bitcoin ETF. Despite the surpassing of the customary 160-day window, which is what just passed, that was yesterday, it looks like there is a batch of answers and decisions that come down Friday at 11 a.m. You say, well, why? What's so special about that? Well, August is a crucial month due to the cycling of law clerks in the District of Columbia, DC courts, and this leads to a clearance of a bunch of pending cases before the new personnel arrive. So essentially, they clear out the books. So while the decision could extend into September, which I believe it will, and then it will be terminated because they're not going to give it to Grayscale when BlackRock is up on the blocks. Anyway, that's just my opinion. The decision could extend into September. August remains a promising time frame for a ruling. If they get a ruling on Friday, I can't imagine it's anything but a hell no. So the SEC, by doing this, they're determining kind of the fate of Grayscale's trust. As you guys know, there's like a huge disparity in what you pay and what you get in that trust for Bitcoin. Anyway, in the last 2 years, the 160-day norm and the reasons behind the close monitoring of this situation is the reason why they say typically at the end of August, when these law clerks leave, they just clean everything out. This would be a decision that would be part of that. In March, so from March 2021 to March 2022, there were 32 cases that underwent oral arguments within the 160-day time frame. And of those 32, 30 of them, 94%, received their decisions within the 160-day period, which was yesterday, meaning for Grayscale. So there is an expectation that these decisions will be rendered within a reasonable time frame. And anyway, that's where we're at. So given historic patterns and all this anticipation, the upcoming batch review on Friday at 11 a.m. holds a fair amount of significance. If we get an answer, I think it's a no. I guess I'm kind of curious what you guys in the chat think. Do you think this is a yes or a no? Brandon, what do you think? You think they're going to give it to Grayscale when?
This is a rhetorical question, obviously. But listen, they're not gonna approve Grayscale. They are gonna approve. I think they're gonna approve everybody all at once. And Grayscale may not even be in that batch, but BlackRock will be. I think BlackRock has more lobbying power.
I think it'll be BlackRock.
Yeah, I think BlackRock will win that batch. If not, if BlackRock isn't first, then they're going to be first with a group of other ETFs.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, there's that. That's interesting. Just kind of food for thought. It gives you something fun to look to. Well, I don't know if we're looking forward to Friday, but if you were looking forward to that decision, I don't think you're going to get it on Friday. They're either going to punt till September or they're just going to flat out say no. And then let the lawsuits continue to fire. And then finally, in what I thought was kind of an interesting story, old Gary Gensler is a little bit in the hot seat. Did you hear about this, Brandon? So,
yeah.
God, I don't know. I don't think this guy's dirty, but yet there's some very sketchy things going on over at the SEC. In a recent development, Republican lawmakers in the U.S. Congressional Committee responsible for overseeing the Securities and Exchange Commission have intensified their scrutiny of the agency's crypto approval process. Led by Patrick McHenry, House Financial Services Committee lawmakers have sent a letter to SEC Gensler, Chair Gensler, demanding an explanation regarding Promethium's approval as a crypto broker dealer. Now, the timing of all of Gary's stuff, there's a lot of bullcrappery going on. He tries to time SEC actions with appearances in front of Congress so that he can say, look what we're doing. We don't need any extra regulation. We got this. This is another example, like an absurdly obvious example that he is gaming their he's trying to game the SEC's I don't know what you would call it. It's some mix between press and like approval. But anyway, their inquiry focuses on Promethium's status as a special purpose broker dealer, an SPBD, for crypto securities. Introduced by the SEC in December of 2020, the SPBD framework was designed to enable custody and transactions involving digital asset securities. Notably, FINRA, Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, approval is a prerequisite to be an SPBD to operate. And until May 17th, 2023, so like a few months ago, there had not been one single SPBD since ever. So let me clarify. There has never been one of these ever. So apparently that's how hard it's supposed to be to get this approval. Like, it's like really tough. However, they approved Promethium's Ember Capital, which is a subsidiary of Promethium. It's the first and only SPBD under the new regime, and it has raised some concerns. The timing is a little questionable. Essentially, it coincided with a joint hearing by the House Financial Services Committee and the House Agriculture Committee on crypto assets and market regulation. Moreover, the lawmakers suspect the approval was strategically aimed at undermining the need for legislative action by showcasing an already well-functioning regulatory framework for digital asset securities custody. And this company is sketchy AF. So you think, okay, well, they must have done a lot of due diligence. This should be, has anybody heard of Promethium? Anybody? Oh, there was like a movie. Promethium was like, oh no, Prometheus. That was the last. That was like the last alien movie. Yep. But no one knows what the hell this is. Anyway, it's so sketchy. Just wait till I tell you a little bit about it. You tell me if you think this sounds right. Promethium claims to offer a comprehensive solution for regulated crypto asset offerings. You say, okay, cool, sounds good. I've never heard of it, but okay, fine. It has yet to serve one single customer. They don't have any customers. Additionally, the firm has not disclosed the digital asset securities supported by their platform, meaning how did they pass the eligibility requirements and criteria if they don't have one customer and they don't even have a list of assets? So, and by the way, the SEC has not provided any kind of definitive guidance on what constitutes a digital asset as a security. So by all the ways that the SEC says that they would measure whether they could allow Promethium to go forward, there's like zero like accountability. Anyway, Promethium's Chinese connections also raised national security concerns. In a letter issued to Gensler, Republican lawmakers expressed some concern regarding Promethium's limited operational capabilities, precisely its inability to perform clearing or settlement services necessary for operating as an alternative trading system. I mean, it's pretty sketch, bro. Pretty sketch.
Yeah, it sounds like they're taking over total control, and you'll have none as well.
Well, not only that, this to me is not a real company. This is some placeholder company that was given this SPBD status so that Gary Gensler could go look congressmen in the face and say, we're fine. We don't need enhanced regulation. Everything we have right now works. Let me keep doing my thing. And when you look into the only company that got SPD like certification, it's a fake company. So tell me about any other crypto platform that you guys know about that has no assets, no list of assets, and doesn't have any customers. Even FTX had fake customers and real customers. Like it's just very sketch. Anyway, you guys keep that in the back of your mind. Just so this is what we're dealing with is a kind of sketchy SEC. Okay, Brandon, should we switch gears now? Should we go ahead and take a look at markets, and then should we look at a wallet?
Let's look at markets, because what the heck is happening? Ethereum, Bitcoin holding up, right?
Oh, did I cut you off?
Go away.
Okay. Yeah. You know, like you said correctly, Bitcoin is slowly melting down, but if you look over the last 30 days, 3.5%. Nothing. I mean, that is just dust, people. Dust. That's not even like the full dust. That's the dust near the dust. That is no motion whatsoever. I started to entertain the idea of, as we get closer to a spot ETF, which I think is probably March of next year, I would be willing or open to look at Bitcoin again, because there might be a good bump there. But right now, it just doesn't look tasty. I think maybe around 25 to 27K, it might look more tasty, but we'll see. This will all develop. We're still in, just on the macro real quick. China, you guys know China cut interest rates. China cut their benchmark rate, which is interest rates, but like they cut their benchmark rate, which is interesting because they had been the whole China, the whole idea of this jump start to China and the rest of the world, because the end of these lockdown COVID policies, it just never happened. And the numbers that came in like yesterday and the day before for China are bad, like not good. They ain't shipping nothing. And so when, if China is not shipping, then people are not buying. And your average US human is in more debt than they were before COVID started, before the rent money.
We're hitting record high debts every day.
It's really bad.
Really bad.
So for those of you that are, you're looking like, when green, well, there's a reason why we keep saying we're probably about 173 days. That's what, 3 days shy of 6 months? That'd be about right? September, October, November, December, January, February. Well, March is a Bitcoin, probably BlackRock's ETF decision by March. I forget what the day is. Is it the 10th or the 24th, something like that? Then you go a couple months, April, May, you have the halving. which didn't do anything for Litecoin, to be fair. But Litecoin's a dumpster fire crap show anyway. This is a very investable market, but you have to have a lot of guile, because a lot of people get all depressed when the market is quiet like this, and they don't realize that this is when the money is made, when things turn around. But we're not there yet. The world has to admit that we're in a recession. Like even Goldman Sachs came out and said, yes, recession's coming, 2024. This is happening. And the Fed's going to cut rates because they would just be driving us into a cliff. Only we all know that it doesn't matter what they do, because nothing that they do with their short-term interest rate really affects the market. A yield curve is showing you where everyone's hedging. Does that make sense? And that's incredibly important. So I say that because you can't ignore the macro backdrop when you're looking at the crypto space. So then what you have to do is you have to say, okay, I have to be buying quality assets, things that I believe can achieve use, utility, hopefully wide scale adoption. We say that all the time. Use, utility, wide scale adoption. This needs to be like your mantra. And then you need to have your 5 T's. Look at the team, look at the timing, look at the technology, look at the tokenomics, and ask, why does the token exist? And if you can't get a good answer, you should not own it. And if you do own something where the token doesn't make sense, just be honest with yourself that you're owning it because it's a trade. And you might see some near-term action on it that you think you can arbitrage. But you need to know, even if you own junky assets, be honest with yourself that you own them. So now, with all that as like the backdrop, you're looking at this crypto market and you're saying, okay, where does it make the most sense for me to put currency units to work? And for me, it goes back to layer 1 assets like infrastructure, AI assets, because the whole world's going in that direction. Layer 2s to an extent, because Ethereum is a complete quagmire and the layer 2s are necessary. Brandon, is there anything that you saw in the markets that made you go, oh, that looks tasty? For instance, for me, Cardano under 30 cents looks tasty.
Yeah, that was the number one that I saw the last couple days even. But Cardano's looking real good. It's still down quite a bit, and a lot of people have been sleeping on it now. Like, for example, in most people I talk to, I haven't gotten my Cardano back yet. And so this is looking to be a buy point for me. Maybe start looking at it again. Even scrolling down the list there, I mean, we're looking at Polygon back down to 62 cents. Holy cow. Optimism still okay. I feel like Optimism has some catching up to do from their to where their potential is, only just because they are working with Base. And I think Base has a lot of things working behind the scenes that we're going to start seeing here soon that they haven't announced yet. You never know what's working.
Brandon, can you explain to people what Base is? Because a lot of people hear it, but they're not sure.
Yeah, Base is Coinbase. Okay, so Coinbase is working with Optimism on their layer 2 network to build functionality into an ecosystem that they're going to be working from. They're not going to be launching a token. They're not going to be launching a Base token, but they're going to be building protocols and DeFi apps and other things on Optimism through their Base ecosystem. So this could be, they're working on a ton of stuff. And just like you saw before with their announcement, they announced they started doing that futures thing back in 2021. They've started Base a while ago, and they just haven't announced what's happening. Just PayPal, for example, they have started working on their crap a long time ago, and you don't know they're working on it, and then bam, announcement. This could happen with Base anytime. More announcements will come out. So Optimism, obviously something that I'm looking at, even though it's not down as much as the rest of the coins, something that I like to look at.
And remember,
Nick?
Greenfield, it's Cosmos and Matic are tanking hard. This is not tanking hard. Tanking hard is what happened in late 2021 to 2022. That's tanking hard. 2017 and 2018, that's tanking hard. This is not tanking hard. This is a slow grind. And a lot of times a slow grind is more depressing for people because they're like, oh man, because they look at their account value and that's the measure of where they're at. But I would go back and I would say, was anybody planning that today, Wednesday, was the day they were going to retire? They were done. Today's your exit. If today wasn't your exit, then this is all just play. Now, I'm not saying that every asset is going to go to the moon or anything like that. I think that this is when I've always made the most money I made because of what I did when the markets were quiet in 2018 and 2019, 2016, a part of 2020, and then the 2021 run. And then what I was doing leading up to the AI the big AI boom early this year. So I think the quiet times give people an opportunity to get multiples. When everything's going up, you don't know what to buy, and you're kind of scared. You're like, well, crap, it's gone up so much. Well, when you see back-to-back red days, it hasn't gone up so much. So you still, today is not an exit day. No.
Yeah. And this is, I think we say this in our NFTs little circles too. Like the time where you make your money is your entry, not your exit. So bam, right here.
Yeah. I mean, it's, so anyway, I think there's a lot, I think there's a lot of opportunity for me and we have to be very careful on the public streams, kind of what we say. This will be a lot different, obviously, in the private shows, because we can be more specific. I would probably put on graph under me, just me. You do whatever the hell you want. I would probably put on graph under 10 cents, which we're pretty much there. I would put on Algorand under 10 cents. Render no. Ocean, if I get under 30 cents, I'm gonna load up a little bit. I'm in my buying range again for AGIX now because it's just broken below 20. So I'm gonna start dollar cost averaging there again. I have a pretty good sized bag, but I want more. This again, fetch's got to be around 15 cents for me. Everything's down about 5 or 6% today, except
Sophia.
Except Sophia.
I didn't even notice that.
But Sophia's down from its high.
Doing?
It's down from its high.
She's not going to be watchable really for the next month and a half because nothing matters with her. Nothing.
Now I will tell you this: there is some event going on in Las Vegas where they're going to be showcasing Sophia, and they're going to be showcasing Sophiaverse and Twin Protocol. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens there. Yeah. And then Cogito is just a damn fail. Just a big old fat fail with a complete pivot. So that's all I would say on markets. For me, I would tell everyone, reduce your thinking to layer ones that you may not have. I think Cardano, I think maybe Algorand. Again, if you already have a position, just stay away from it.
Greenfield. I like NTX too.
Yeah, I like NewNet too. But remember, don't get tunnel vision on the AI assets.
Yep.
Only make sure that your portfolio. And again, we're going to do this a lot in September, but make sure your portfolio has a wide spectrum of layer ones, data, AI assets, layer two kind of exposure, things like that. Which again, we'll get into all that. Okay. That being said, Pulse Chain. I'm not super excited about Pulse Chain. Is Twin available yet? Twin, is it available yet for? No, there's no token available. The TGE for Twin would be, they think October. They don't know for
November. Sure. I think it'll be delayed a little bit, right?
They think October. I don't know.
Yeah.
The range for SDAO. It's not an under or an over. It's that we know that there's an SDAO. So that's a good question. So there's a Singularity DAO is doing an upgrade, a version 2 to their entire website, a whole makeover, and the token will be necessary to participate in the pools that everybody can just do for free. So there'll be some, and they're going to make a little bit of yield off that. So for me, that token makes a lot of sense when they roll out their version 2, but you don't want to buy it after they've rolled out version 2 because you might have missed a good move. So I would say if that's on your list of quality assets, that would be one that you would be slowly working on building a position. I had sold some in the mid 50s. And so for me, it makes sense to start adding again because their version 2 is coming out. The reason I sold it was because at that time, there was no version 2 on the horizon and I just didn't see a reason to own it. But now I do because I think that what they're doing makes a lot of sense. Okay, good. No news on the airdrops yet, but that will be a part of what they release in version 2. There's going to be a lot of information about airdrops. a lot of that, oddly enough, a lot of this stuff happens in September. September is going to be a busy month. We're going to have a lot of information for you in September. So tune in.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun month. Let's check this out.
Brandon, do you have a wallet for us?
Yeah, let's go over the wallet of the day. Let's go. Well, look at that stuff. Look at that. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I think you can see the letters and numbers now. I think, yeah, we're good. Okay, so this is actually this is Ben's wallet. This is Ben.E's wallet. So a couple of months ago, or I don't know if you guys were following or not, but he had some clout on Twitter. He asked everybody to send him some tokens blindly for some projects that he was launching. These are 2 tokens that he was launching, and he just promised the world. Anyway, he got $22 million in Ethereum actually sent to his wallet from these people on Twitter in hopes that he was going to provide liquidity for these tokens. Sure enough, he provided about $300 in liquidity, which if you do your math correctly, $22 million, $300, I don't think that's the same for his liquidity pool to be set up for his token. Either way, he then promised that he was going to buy the token to skyrocket it to the moon with the $22 million. Sure enough, he did not do that as well. This is a guy that lives in Colorado and lives on a ranch by himself and is hiding now. But he has $22 million as of a couple of weeks ago. But this is interesting because a lot of people are watching this guy's wallet and what he's doing with it. And he's gone silent on Twitter. His promises have started to fade into oblivion. And guess what? Just as everybody expected, we go ahead and we start to see what? Out from Ben.ETH, 6 ETH. Out from Ben.ETH over to something else, 5 ETH. Out from Ben.ETH, sending out 50 ETH at this time. 50 ETH he sent out. And these are not going to support his projects in any way. So the transparency of the blockchain shines again. The truth comes through when you start to look at his wallet and start to see all these transfers. And I know when you scroll, you can't see as well, but all these transfers coming out, 25 ETH, bam, 187 ETH, 160 ETH, 158 ETH, 56 ETH. This guy is an utter scumbag, and you can tell clearly by his wallet. People are watching this thing crying, seeing all their funds obliterate into oblivion. I don't know who had the audacity to send their funds to a blind guy, a blind wallet in hopes that they would deliver on a project, but he did not deliver on this project. And so saddened by this, we can go ahead and see his wallet. But that's one more lesson of why the blockchain is so cool, because we can actually see. It's like getting a visual looking glass into anybody in the world's bank account. You can actually see exactly what they're doing with the money. You can see when he got that $22 million, you watched him go fund the Uniswap liquidity pool with like $100 or whatever it was, something stupid. And everybody's like, why did you only fund $100 into this liquidity pool when you promised you were going to fund it with, you know, at least 10% or at least 20% of what we gave you? And he's like, oh, blah, 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 some excuse. And then he's like, I promise. But you know what? We watched his wallet and nothing happened. This is not BitBoy. BitBoy was involved in this, actually. So he was involved in this a little bit to some extent. And it's complicated to go into the details of that. But this is not BitBoy Crypto. This is another Ben. This is Ben.ETH that's over there. So
okay, so let's just keep it simple. What kind of dumbass sends money, just sends Ethereum to an anonymous dumbass? I mean, come on, man.
This happened multiple times this month. I don't think people are going to fall for it again. Another guy said, he made an Ethereum address. He said, send me ETH, you get nothing. He said, yeah, his name's Paulie over on Twitter. Anyway, he said, send me ETH, you get absolutely nothing. And people sent him over $1 million expecting, and he's like, why are you guys sending me Ethereum? I promised you nothing. I promised you 0 things. And they're like, well, where's my stuff? He's like, I promised you nothing.
No, but they're like, yeah, but when he promised us nothing, that was like,
he means something.
He was really going to give us something.
Yeah, Arlen, I think they're going to try, but it's like one of those things where it's like, they will do it. I mean, they can get around to it. And what people don't realize is because the blockchain is pretty transparent, they can see IP addresses, they can see where those things were funded from. You know, you can actually go to Coinbase and you can get a subpoena and you can get people's records. So if he transferred any of those to Coinbase Exchange or anything like that, then they can have access to that. And people could actually go through and find out where the money went, say they were promised something, they didn't get it, it's security fraud and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, he could be in a big, don't do this. He could be in a lot of trouble. This is not right. This is not correct.
Brandon, how do you find these wallet addresses?
Hey, Jim, this is a really good question. So this is over on Etherscan, but these guys, Ben, for example, has a .eth name. .eth names are so cool, and we're going to go over this in a tech tip video. This is a clear, easy way for us humans to read a wallet address. So I can just type in ben.eth in Etherscan, and it actually resolves to his 42-character MetaMask address or whatever address he's using. It resolves to his wallet, and then I can look it up that way. But that's how we found it. We can also just, I mean, it's just so public.
And just so everybody here knows, every Ethereum address of anybody, you can go and look at it. There's no private Ethereum addresses. There are vanity addresses that'll have like someone's name, like ben.eth, but there is no, there's nothing super secret. Anybody's address that you have, you can go to Etherscan, you can put the address in, you can look at all the transactions.
You can see where the money's come from. You can see who it's going to. You can track that whole line. You can see what they're buying, what they've sold, like literally everything. It is so transparently clear. And that's what a lot of the ambiguity is. And they're like, I don't understand the blockchain. I don't understand what's happening, but you can see it all. So anyway, crazy stuff.
It's a crazy world out there to people that just give money away to jackwagons. God. All right. Yes. Let's call it a day. We will do a tech video. Well, we're going to have a tech video for tomorrow. And then hopefully I will get recorded today, this week in Hypercycle. So that'll be fun. Otherwise, stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything that my poor, insolvent, drunk, struggling on meth grandmother or Brandon wouldn't do, which is very little.
Is it because of the Meg thing? It's because of the Meg and the donuts now. I'm getting like reprimanded.
I bet you have that, a cup that says like best dad ever or something like, do you have that?
No. The only cup I have is when YouTube gave me this Google cup.
Best dad ever. And then like a shark. Oh God.
Oh, brother.
If you're an accredited investor and you want in on angel, seed round or early round equity and token opportunities in the artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency space, schedule an interview at nickblacknext.com. In life, you can either be really good, really lucky, or just be first. Being first is so much easier. Schedule a digital private client interview today at nickblacknext.com. If you're an accredited investor,